What is up, Guffers? Today I am ranking the top 5 players for fantasy football that will be playing for a new team in the 2021 NFL season. This is mainly your free agents who were on another team last year and they're on a new team this year. So let's see what they can do. I'm not going to include players like Julio Jones who still have not had a team, who are still not on a new team. So no current free agents, no one who's probably going to be traded but still on their current team. Before we get started, remember to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter for more of this type of content and more fantasy football and NFL analysis. All right, starting off at number 5, I have Carson Wentz. He was acquired in a trade with the Philadelphia Eagles by the Indianapolis Colts. I did a video early in the offseason about Carson Wentz's fantasy value for this next season. I think he's going to have a very good year. This is a new, fresh environment for Carson Wentz. He has loaded weapons on offense, way more than he ever had on Philly. He has all the tools to succeed. I mean, his running backs are Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, Hines. He's got T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman Jr., and Paris Campbell as his wide receivers. Even his tight ends, Jack Doyle and Mo Alley Cox, both have shown they're reliable targets. So he has everything he needs to succeed. He has to get it done this year, or I think his career is over. But I have faith he can do it. He has everything he needs to succeed. I think he can be a good fantasy option. All right, number 4. I have Will Fuller. Signed a 1-year deal with the Miami Dolphins, coming from the Texans. He will miss the first game due to his suspension for performance-enhancing substances, but just the first game. So, he's the speed demon, deep threat, always a great addition to any wide receiver core. And the Dolphins' wide receiving core is already pretty stacked. Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle they just drafted, Preston Williams, Mike Gesicki. Tua has some serious weapons, and Tua is a player who he likes to throw it deep. He's not afraid to pull the trigger. He's kind of that gunslinger quarterback. I believe Will Fuller will serve that wide receiver 2 role, kind of behind Devontae Parker. But we've seen with the Texans that he can be successful in that role. He played behind DeAndre Hopkins for years and still a great fantasy option. Tua, I think Tua will turn this team to a first team, which means plenty of fantasy points to go around. No reason Will Fuller won't have a good game. Won't have a good season. Might get injured, that's always the case, but fully healthy Will Fuller, I think, is a great wide receiving option. All right, number 3, I'm going to cheat a little bit here, but I'm going to include both tight ends Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, both signed by the Patriots for this upcoming season. I'm not sure which one will get the bulk of the targets, but I believe there's room for both of them to succeed. A lot of comparisons to when the Patriots had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez both in their squads. I don't think it will be that much of a that high level of volume like they had, all those fantasy points they were racking up. I think they will definitely have a fantasy impact, definitely be fantasy relevant. Cam Newton, he will most likely be a starter at the beginning of the season, and we have seen he likes to throw to his tight ends. He's had many successes with Greg Olsen in Carolina. Even if Mac Jones becomes a starter, rookie quarterbacks are known to favor tight ends. Kind of a safety blanket, and that's kind of where the team's strength is right now. And these 2 tight ends, wide receiving core hasn't improved too much. Improved a little bit, but not too much. So I think they're going to have to rely on these tight ends. Either way, I'm interested in both of them for fantasy. Hunter Henry, I think with more fantasy relevant tight end. Very hard to cover in the red zone. I think he'll end up having more touchdowns. There's only a few reliable fantasy tight ends in fantasy football. One of these guys can make a big difference for your team. If you don't have the top guys like Kelsey or Kittle, these might be league winners, these 2. All right, next up, number 2, I have Giants wide receiver Kenny Golladay. They acquired him from the Detroit Lions, signed him to a pretty big contract. The Giants were in desperate need of a wide receiver 1, and I believe Golladay can fulfill that role. Daniel Jones is entering his 3rd year, I believe, in the NFL, and I believe now he has the experience to lead a fantasy relevant offense. These Giants wide receivers can produce finally. And with so much attention going to Saquon Barkley on every snap, I just leave plenty of room for a wide receiver like Golladay to get him behind defenses and tear them up all day. I believe he can be a reliable fantasy option each week for this upcoming season. He's still only 27 years old, still a pretty young guy. He will definitely continue to make an impact for this team. I think fantasy relevance will definitely be there this year. All right, and now my number one, easily my number one, Tim Tebow. The Jaguars just acquired this guy. He's just a raw athlete. I needed a chance. Made the necessary position change. Now we're going to get QB fantasy numbers from the tight end position. Just kidding. My real number one is Matthew Stafford. We've seen Sean McVay's offense is just unreal. It's highly efficient, highly effective. I believe Jared Goff holding the reins of this offense kind of held them back. Matt Stafford is a proven quarterback. If he's not elite, then he's just right under that tier in many people's opinion. I see no reason why Matt Stafford will not have a great season with the Rams. Sean McVay's offense seems to be a great system that takes pressure off the quarterback with the run game and set up quick, easy throws. Matt Stafford's always been a reliable fantasy option on a struggling Lions team, too, and now he is on one of the best teams in the NFL. He is set up to succeed here. Sean McVay will make sure that running game is good. The wide receivers are still very good. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. Tyler Higbee at tight end. No reason he won't succeed here. I think his fantasy impact only elevates being on the Rams. I can definitely see him being a top 10 option this year, maybe even highest top 6. Be interested to see where he goes in mock drafts. That will be the real telling of his value. If he's going later, I think he'll be a steal. If he's going in kind of the mid rounds, maybe not, but still, I think he'll be good for fantasy this year, and he comes in as number one. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comment section who you think the top 5 players will be who are on new teams for the 2021 season. Let me know if you agree with my list, if you disagree with my list. My list is not the right list. It's just my opinion, and who I think will have the best fantasy impact for this upcoming season. That is going to do it. Grow up, subscribe, and get guffed.